Yes, it's spring. Even though we're still officially in winter, it's spring. And with what authority do I say this? Well, I let this speak for me. This is a subtropical peach flower, and it just opened like 2 days ago. So that's how I get my authority to call this time of the year spring and not winter. So if you go to my Instagram, you'll see the local native calendar for Melbourne, and it's quite obvious or evident that this is spring, even though we're officially still in late winter. Don't you love these beautiful early season peach flowers? Yeah, so nature tells us what the season is, not some botanist from England that sailed to Australia 200 years ago. It's spring. More evidence of spring. This is the Pinkerton avocado, ready to burst with blossoms. It's been holding these guys now for about a month, and they're all over. Look at that. It's spring everywhere in the garden. The whole tree is covered with flower buds in so-called late winter, but it's really spring. And here's another sign of spring. These are the early flowers from the Chinese lantern. These guys flower almost all year. And right behind them, lavender, another one that flowers all year, especially now in spring. Another sign is here. This is pineapple sage, showing us that it's spring. Isn't that beautiful? Spring flowers in so-called winter. And the bird of paradise, another sign of spring, right here. This one also flowers most of the year. It just opened a couple of days ago. And this is the geranium, which also opened in the last few days. And there's a lot more buds coming over this late winter, early spring. And here's another sign of spring. Citrus flowering. This is key lime. or as we call them in Australia, West Indies lime. And I've been asked a few times, will this grow down here in southern Australia? Well, what does it look like? So if you have any doubts whether this is spring or winter, my best advice for you is to get into gardening, and more specifically subtropical / tropical gardening. That way you can enjoy every season of the year, not only summer, not only summer or spring, late spring, but early spring, which is where we are now, and winter, so-called winter. But as you can see, this is really spring. It's everywhere. This is the white sapote tree, and it's been flowering now since the end of autumn. It's been flowering all winter. It hasn't had a winter. It went straight from summer back to summer. It has not missed any flowers for the whole year. And you can only see that when you venture out of standard plants, cold weather plants. And this is the camellia, the ultimate symbol of winter flowering. But we're going to call it spring. Yep. How can you call this winter when this whole tree is full of buds ready to open? This year actually it's a bit late. Usually blooms in June. So it's over a month late this year. Yeah, this is the camellia. In about a week or two, it'll be completely covered in these amazing red flowers all over. This is a 25-year-old camellia, and it's the ultimate showpiece in winter when it's covered in blooms. And this is another camellia, the white one, and it just opened last week. And look at the buds. Look at this, all ready to open, like it's spring, not winter. Full of buds. So by the beginning of August, this will be one big white, delicious spring show, flower show. And last but not least, these guys here. These are consistently flowering throughout the year. This is the bougainvillea from the tropics, and it hasn't stopped flowering since, well, last winter, since last July, August. So even more evidence that this is spring and not winter. So guys, hope you enjoyed that video with heaps and heaps of evidence and signs and wonders that this is really springtime in our temperate climate down here in Melbourne, with all these flowering, beautiful plants, and also these tropical leaves from this plant here. So what do you think? Does this look like winter to you, or spring, summer? Yeah. Anyway, make sure to subscribe and like, and put on your bell to be notified of any new videos coming up. Thanks a lot.